Have you ever felt a kind of pain so deep that it made you question if you could ever rise again? Maybe it was the night you cried yourself to sleep after a heartbreak. Maybe it was the rejection letter that crushed your dreams. Or maybe it was that one failure that left you feeling powerless. We've all been there. And in those moments, it feels like pain is the end of the road. But what if I tell you something different? What if your pain was never meant to break you, but to build you? Most of us run from pain. We try to hide it, bury it, or pretend it doesn't exist. But the more we run, the heavier it gets. The truth is, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your greatest hidden teacher. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every failure carries a lesson inside it. But only a few people know how to unlock it. Think about Oprah Winfrey. She faced unimaginable trauma in her childhood, struggles that could have destroyed anyone. But instead of letting pain define her, she chose to use it as her fuel and turned it into a power that inspired millions. If she can do it, why can't you? That's why we created this audiobook, 5 Secret Steps to Turn Your Pain into Power. Not random theories, not motivational cliches, but practical, proven steps that will guide you to take the very pain you're carrying right now and transform it into unstoppable strength. So let me ask you, are you tired of feeling broken? Are you ready to rise stronger than ever before? Because if you are, stay with me until the very end, because what you're about to hear will not only change the way you look at your pain, it will change the way you look at yourself. Step 1. Accept the pain as your teacher. Why is it that we see pain as the enemy? The moment something hurts us, our instinct is to push it away, to cover it with distractions, to pretend it never happened. But tell me honestly, has running from pain ever made it disappear? Or has it only made the wound deeper? The truth is, the first secret of transformation is not to escape pain, but to accept it. Acceptance is the doorway to growth. Think of pain as a spotlight. It shines on the exact part of your life that needs attention. If you refuse to look at it, you stay stuck in darkness. But the moment you turn toward it and say, yes, this hurts, but I'm willing to face it, the healing begins. Pain is not a curse. It's not a punishment. It's a teacher, one that speaks a hard language, but a language of truth. And here's the key. The longer you deny pain, the longer it owns you. The moment you accept it, you begin to own yourself again. Look at Keanu Reeves. His life was filled with tragedies most of us can't imagine. The death of his best friend, the loss of his child, and the passing of his partner. He could have chosen bitterness. He could have drowned in anger or escaped into denial. But Keanu didn't run. He embraced the pain, accepted it as part of his story, and carried it with grace. That acceptance gave him an unshakable strength, a quiet power that the world deeply respects today. He isn't admired only for his movies, but for the way he turned unimaginable pain into deep compassion and humility. Now think about something closer to home. Imagine someone who loses their job after years of effort. At first it feels unbearable. Fear of bills, fear of judgment, fear of starting over. The natural instinct is to deny it. This can't be happening. This isn't fair, but denial only prolongs the suffering. The moment they accept the truth, yes, I've lost this job, but it doesn't mean I've lost my value. Something changes. That acceptance shifts their energy from feeling powerless to preparing for the next chapter. Maybe it's a better career. Maybe it's the business they always wanted to start. But it all begins with acceptance. So here's your first step. Pick one painful memory you've been avoiding. It could be a rejection, a loss, or a failure. Write it down on paper. Then say these words out loud. This pain is not here to destroy me. This pain is here to teach me. The moment you do this, you'll feel a shift inside. Because now, you're no longer a victim of pain. You're a student of it. And once you accept pain as your teacher, the next secret becomes clear. If pain is a teacher, what lesson is it trying to teach you? That's the discovery waiting for you in step 2. Step 2. Find the hidden lesson. inside the struggle. What if I told you your pain is actually a messenger? Yes, every rejection, every heartbreak, every failure is carrying a hidden message for you. But here's the problem. Most people are in so much hurry to escape their pain, they never stop to ask, what is this trying to teach me? Pain is not random. Behind every painful moment lies a coded lesson. When something hurts, it's not just an accident, it's feedback from life. A failed exam isn't only about marks. The lesson might be about preparation, discipline, or persistence. A breakup isn't just about losing someone. The lesson might be about self-respect, boundaries, or learning what true love means. A financial loss isn't just about money gone. The lesson could be about making wiser choices, building resilience, or diversifying your efforts. The truth is, pain is like a teacher who speaks in disguise. If you only focus on the suffering, you'll miss the wisdom. But the moment you ask, what is life trying to teach me here? The pain becomes meaningful. Take J.K. Rowling. Before becoming one of the world's most successful authors, she faced years of struggle. She was a single mother, broke, living on welfare, and was rejected by 12 publishers. Each rejection was painful. Each no could have been the end. But instead of drowning in despair, she searched for the lesson. The lesson was resilience. The lesson was to keep believing in her story, even when nobody else did. That pain carved out persistence inside her, and that persistence created Harry Potter, a story that went on to inspire the entire world. Her pain didn't block her destiny. It refined her path to it. Now think about someone applying for jobs again and again, sending resumes, giving interviews, only to face rejection each time. At first, it feels soul-crushing. You begin to wonder, am I not good enough? Am I worthless? But if they pause and reflect, they might see the hidden lesson. Maybe the rejection is saying, you need to upgrade your skills. Or maybe it's redirecting them toward an opportunity they would have never considered otherwise. A career path that's actually a better fit. Rejection feels like a closed door, but sometimes it's simply life's way of pointing you toward the right one. Here's your step. Choose one painful memory from your life. It could be a failure, a rejection, or even a loss. Now, instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask a better question. What did this pain teach me that I would have never learned otherwise? Write that lesson down, because once you uncover the lesson, the pain no longer feels like punishment. It feels like preparation, and that leads us to the next secret. Once you accept your pain and find its hidden lesson, there's something even more powerful you must do. You must rewrite the story you tell yourself about that pain. That's the transformation waiting for you in step 3. Step 3, reframe your story. Let me ask you something important. When you think about your past pain, do you see yourself as the one who was broken or as the one who survived? The truth is, pain by itself doesn't decide your future. What decides it is the meaning you attach to that pain, and the meaning comes from the story you tell yourself. Every single person is a storyteller, not just to others, but to themselves. If your inner story says, I'm a failure, I'm unlucky, I'm weak, then no matter how much potential you have, you will keep living small. But if your story says, I'm a fighter, I'm learning, I'm growing stronger, then even the darkest struggle becomes fuel for your growth. Reframing doesn't erase the facts. The heartbreak happened, the rejection happened, the failure happened, but you get to decide what role it plays in your life. Will it be the heavy chain that keeps you stuck in the past, or will it be the fire that pushes you to create a new future? Think of pain like raw clay. You can leave it as a heavy lump that weighs you down, or you can shape it into something powerful and beautiful. The clay is the same, but the story you write with it makes all the difference. Take Steve Jobs. When he was fired from Apple, the company he himself had built, it was one of the most humiliating moments of his life. If he had framed the story as, I'm finished, I've lost everything, my career is over, he could have disappeared into bitterness. but he chose a different frame. Years later, he said, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." Why? Because it forced him to become creative again, to start fresh, to rebuild. That reframing transformed a painful rejection into the foundation of one of the greatest comebacks in business history. When he returned, Apple rose higher than ever before. Now imagine a student who fails an important exam. If they tell themselves, "I'm stupid, I'll never succeed, this is the end for me," that story becomes their reality. They carry the label of failure, and it holds them back from trying again. But what if they reframe it? What if the story becomes, "This exam wasn't the end. It was feedback. I now know where I need to improve, and I will come back stronger." Same event, different story. One version crushes confidence, the other version creates resilience. Here's your practice for today. Take one painful memory from your life. Write down the story as you usually tell it, the victim's version. Be honest and raw. Now write it again, but this time, write it as the warrior's version. In this version, you are not broken. You are the one who grew wiser, stronger, and more capable because of what happened. Finally, read both stories out loud. Notice how the victim story makes you feel small, and how the warrior story makes you feel powerful. That's the magic of reframing. The story you tell yourself becomes the reality you live. And once your story changes, your actions change too. Because when you no longer see yourself as a victim, you stop acting like one. Instead, you begin to take bold, fearless action. And that's the next secret we'll uncover in Step 4. Step 4. Take bold action using pain as fuel. What if the same pain that almost broke you could become the strongest fire inside you? Think about it. Pain creates energy. That energy can either pull you down into depression and self-doubt, or it can push you to rise, to act, to prove to yourself that you are unshakable. The choice is always yours. Pain is not just an emotion, it's power waiting to be used. When life hurts you, it gives you an intensity that nothing else can create. You feel restless, you feel like screaming, you feel like exploding. That intensity is raw fuel. The problem is most people waste it. They drown it in alcohol, endless scrolling, meaningless distractions. But the ones who rise, they take that fire and channel it into action. They study harder, they train harder, they build bigger. They don't let pain sit idle. They convert it into movement. Bold action doesn't mean you're fearless. It means you take a step despite the fear, despite the pain. And every step forward weakens the control pain has over you, while strengthening the power inside you. Take Michael Jordan. When he was a teenager, he didn't make the varsity basketball team. That rejection crushed him. He cried alone in his room. It could have been the end of his dream. He could have accepted the story. Maybe I'm not good enough. But instead, he turned that pain into obsession. He practiced longer than anyone else, day after day, night after night. That burning rejection became his driving force. And because he used his pain as fuel, he went on to become one of the greatest athletes of all time. Jordan once said, "I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." It wasn't talent alone. It was pain, converted into relentless action. Now picture someone who just went through a painful breakup. At first, the heartbreak feels unbearable. Sleepless nights, a mind full of why me questions. Most people would sink deeper into sadness. But imagine this person makes a different choice. Instead of drowning in self-pity, they walk into the gym. At first, it's just to get the anger out, but slowly the pain becomes energy. Each workout turns into therapy. Each drop of sweat becomes proof that they are rebuilding. Within months, they're stronger, healthier, more confident, and not just physically. Their career focus sharpens too, because they've learned to direct energy instead of wasting it. The same heartbreak that once felt like an ending became the push that built a brand new life. Here's what you need to do right now. Think of one pain that still burns inside you. It could be rejection, loss, betrayal, or failure. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "Where can I use this energy?" Then choose one bold action this week. If rejection is your pain, apply for that opportunity again, but better prepared. If heartbreak is your pain, invest in your health and self-growth. If failure is your pain, use it to refine your strategy and try again with double effort. Don't let the fire of pain sit inside you doing nothing. Turn it into action, because bold action is how pain transforms into progress. But here's the thing, bold action alone is not enough. Because if you don't anchor these actions into your identity, you'll slip back into the old patterns. The real transformation comes when you stop seeing yourself as the person in pain and start seeing yourself as the person of power. That's the final step, creating a new identity. And that's exactly what we'll explore in Step 5. Step 5. Create a new powerful identity. Who are you after this storm of pain? That's the ultimate question, because every hardship leaves you changed, but it doesn't decide how you change. That choice belongs to you. Pain has the power to shape your future, but you get to decide whether it shapes you into a victim or into someone unstoppable. Your identity is like the operating system of your life. It silently controls the way you think, the choices you make, and the limits you set for yourself. If your identity says, "I'm broken, unlucky, weak," you will unconsciously keep proving it true. You'll hesitate, you'll hold yourself back, you'll settle for less. But if your identity becomes, "I'm resilient, I'm powerful, I turn pain into strength," then every action you take will align with that belief. Suddenly, bold moves feel natural. Confidence feels normal. Growth becomes automatic. Think of it this way. Pain is like a wildfire. It burns away who you used to be. But after the fire, the ground is clear for something new to grow. And what grows, your new identity, depends on the seeds you plant. This is why many people relapse into old patterns after temporary change. They take new actions, but never change how they see themselves. The only way to make transformation permanent is to build a new identity from your pain. Consider Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. That kind of pain could have easily destroyed his spirit. He could have come out bitter, carrying the identity of a victim of injustice. But Mandela chose differently. He created a new identity, not as a prisoner, but as a leader, a reconciler, a symbol of freedom. That identity made him more powerful than any prison walls ever could. And because of that choice, he didn't just transform himself, he transformed an entire nation. Now think of someone who went through severe burnout at work. For months, they dragged themselves through endless hours, ignoring their health, their relationships, their joy. Finally, their body and mind collapsed. At first, they felt defeated. "I'm weak. I can't handle life." But here's the turning point. They decided to change the story. They built a new identity. "I'm someone who values balance. I'm someone who honors my energy. I'm wiser because of this experience." With that new identity, their choices changed. They started setting boundaries at work. They rebuilt healthy routines. They learned to protect their energy. The burnout that once felt like an ending became the foundation of a stronger, smarter self. Here's your step for today. Write down one painful experience that left a mark on you. Then ask yourself, who did this pain help me become? Now create a new identity statement from that answer. For example, I am not broken. I am stronger because I survived. I am not a failure. I am proof that resilience wins. I am not my past. I am the power it created. Repeat this identity statement every morning when you wake up and every night before you sleep. because repetition rewires belief, and when your belief changes, your life changes. Now you've unlocked the fifth and final secret. You've learned how to take your pain, not just as something to survive, but as the very foundation of a new identity. But before we close this journey, let's bring everything together. A recap of all 5 steps and a final push to live them fully. You've just completed a powerful journey. The 5 secret steps to turn your pain into power. Let's quickly remind ourselves of what you've discovered. In step 1, you learn to accept your pain as your teacher instead of running from it. In step 2, you uncovered the hidden lessons inside your struggles, the messages life was trying to send you. In step 3, you reframed your story, shifting from victim to warrior, changing the meaning of your past. In step 4, you turned pain into raw fuel, using it to take bold actions that move you forward. And in step 5, you built a brand new identity, not shaped by weakness, but by the power your pain created. Each of these steps is not just theory. They are practical tools. Together they form a roadmap that can change the way you see yourself forever. Remember this, your pain was never here to destroy you. It was here to awaken you. Every scar you carry is proof, not of what broke you, but of what you survived. So when life hurts you again, don't ask, why me? Instead ask, what is this teaching me? How can I use this? Because inside every struggle lies the seed of strength, and you already have the power to turn it into something extraordinary. Now it's your turn. Don't just listen and forget. Pick one of these steps and apply it today. Write your new identity statement. Take one bold action. Share the lesson you learned. And if this audiobook touched you, share it with someone else who needs to hear it. Because sometimes the message that saves you is the same message that can save someone else. Thank you for giving me your time, your attention, and most importantly, your trust. I know listening to something like this means you've been carrying pain, and I want you to know you are not alone. Your story matters. Your healing matters. Your power matters. So as you move forward, carry this truth with you. Your pain does not define you. The way you rise from it does. This is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one written with strength, courage, and power. Thank you for listening, and remember the world is waiting to see the legend you become. Thank you.